Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. Welcome to being here wherever you are on our amazing planet. I'm Ariel.
I'm Shia.
And if you don't ask,
The answer is always no.
I love the little quote we had on this week's episode. You
What,
miss 100% of the shots you don't take, which
Wayne Gretzky
Mm.
was a hockey player.
Yeah, very, very skilled, famous, excellent.
Yeah, you every time you don't ask, you don't get.
I love this episode in general, but also because Susan Finch and I are offering the Speak Up episode, the Speak Up seminar on a Saturday upcoming on the 23rd of September. And I've been receiving emails from people about how they get tongue-tied when, say, a family member criticizes how they're going about their life, like how they don't have the possibility to articulate how they see things, but instead they start fighting.
Well, there's other possibilities where you don't fight and you don't have to articulate how you feel in opposition to someone else's assertion.
Yet you just
Listen. Listening is this amazing event. A week or so back, or a while back now, we were at a friend's house and there was another guest there. And while Ariel and our friend were in preparing dinner, I sat out in the backyard and interacted with this other person. And interestingly enough, I realized very shortly into the conversation that he was not willing to listen to what I had to say. So what I did was listen to what he had to say. I didn't try to impose my point of view, my ideas about life and aliveness. I listened to his story that he has, I'm certain, told hundreds, if not thousands of times, because this guy was elderly. And, I could have disagreed with him because his point of view about life and mine were vastly different.
You know what I enjoyed?
No.
I enjoyed that when I came out, and then of course later in the evening after this individual left, how content you were, that you did not become frustrated that you couldn't get your point across or make it, you had no point to get across. And I know the theme is if you don't ask, the answer is always no. And at the same time,
there's something called being appropriate to the moment, to what's happening in your life. If you're trying to drive a situation to get somewhere that you think will be better than where you are, you're always out of sync with the moment. Because the moment requires a relaxation, not a getting somewhere. The moment really doesn't care about your point of view and what you believe is true and what you believe is important. The moment just is as it is. And it's not making a demand on you to prove anything. You make that demand on yourself when you're feeling insecure.
This episode airs a month shy of our 39th wedding anniversary.
Whoa, wait a second, what day?
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
No, so 8/16 this airs in 9/16. And I realized that our first date.
Yes.
When I came up to you and basically made an offer, actually I made a pass at you.
Yes.
But it was actually a request. It was asking if you wanted to be with me.
Yes.
So as you're listening to this episode today, don't get stuck in a question format in your mind that you always have to go up and say, would you like to go out with me? My offer was basically a request. There's about opening yourself and seeing what's possible. And I did not have an attachment to the outcome.
Right.
And that's where a lot of people get lost and tongue-tied, is they're so busy scheming in the background, trying to get it to turn out the way they want the answer to be,
Right.
that it's not really a what I consider an open-handed question.
Well, you just asked, and I said yes eventually. Just took me a while to get past my embarrassment.
Mine too. Should we take our first guest?
Yes,
All
let's.
right. Miss Lenore, welcome to being here. Tell people kindly where you are zooming in from.
I'm Lenore, and I'm zooming in from Montclair, New Jersey.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's lovely to be with you. When I think about asking for what I want, just think about asking for it, I feel a rush of just, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. I mean, who does that? Who just boldly asks for what they want? I mean, that's.
Well, let's slow down for a second. Let's talk about the what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what you want?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Well, those are the times that you need to ask for what you want. But a lot of times you don't know what you want.
True.
You think that what you want is going to somehow satisfy you.
Yes.
So sometimes it's about being willing to either experience or express what's between you and knowing what you want.
What do you mean?
Well, if I have 10 potential activities I can do in a day,
Yes.
I can either pick one and say, Shia, will you go with me to Costco? We need to do shopping. And it may or may not be what I actually want to do. Sometimes for me, it's important that I don't have to figure it all out on my own, that I can say, wow, Shia, I've got 10 things on my plate today. I'm not sure which one is the most, compelling, important. Or I notice that I just want to ditch out of the house, but I have a lot of emails to do, or that I'm willing to communicate and collaborate. And I really see that that's something you're getting better and better at, this collaboration thing, because you and I are friends and we frequently collaborate on things.
Yes. And that lit something up inside of me. I think that's the part where I have in the past been hesitant to do, like let people in on the beginning part of, this is what I'm looking at. I feel like I have to have things wrapped up before I ask for anything, help or assistance, or like I have to know. For example, I am studying algebra right now, and I can ask about a specific thing that I'm studying rather than just say, I'm not sure what I should study here. Can you even help me figure out how I should look at it? It never occurred to me until now to even ask from the beginning.
Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because I just saw myself in relationships in how in the past I really wanted to appear all together, like I had it all worked out.
Well, you are all together. You do have it all worked out. This is the way it is. The way you show up in this moment is worked out.
Cool.
You know, I think your fears are based in futures that haven't arrived. So you are concerned that if you ask somebody for something, it will affect how they relate to you going forward in time.
Yes.
Those fears are also rooted in layered experiences from the past. So if we have the story of Lenore's life and we turn to page 1, technically, I'm just making this up now, there's conception, and then there you're growing, and then you get born, and then you have your childhood years. There are different pages in the book of Lenore's life. When you started talking at the very, very beginning of this podcast, your face took on a really young cast, and almost like a caricature of little girls that you saw on TV. So you came up, grew up. People are now growing up in the social media age. We grew up in the television age, and we modeled ourselves after a lot of people. And it was interesting to see not you, but whoever you constructed yourself to be back then to be there first.
Yeah.
And what's cool about that is every moment is an opportunity for now. Shaya has been saying this recently. You either have well-being or the barriers between you and well-being. So I think sometimes when you have old habits pop up, you think you failed rather than, oh, good. Here's another piece of me that I haven't looked at yet.
Right. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, I like what you said before. And I'd heard it before, but it was very cool before you said, you really can't do this wrong. And I sometimes in the past have forgotten that.
Well, that makes you normal
you probably forget
because people think they can do their lives wrong.
Anytime you resist something, it's like, boom, you're doing your life wrong.
Right.
So sounds human.
Welcome to the human race.
I want to
Cool.
circle back around to something you said at the very beginning of this, because I see it so powerful and we just kind of skipped past it, Shia. And that is about, if you don't ask, the answer is always no, yes. But you were saying, but do you know what you want? And I actually think we're often asking for what we want all the time, but sometimes what we want may be to be stuck.
Yeah, because if what you want, see, here's the thing, you have what you want. We all have what we want in the current moment. Otherwise, it would be different. We'd have something else. So if you are confused, you want confusion in this moment. If you're clear, you want clarity in this moment. We always have what we want.
And some of the things we want are less comfortable than others.
And we've been trained in misdirection. We've been trained to blame the circumstance for how we feel rather than be responsible for our feelings. So if you're confused, you're confused. It isn't because what I'm saying is confusing.
Right.
Can I talk about something personal from your life for a moment?
Absolutely. Yes.
There was a period, quite an extended period of time where you and your dad weren't speaking. There was a split, and you just hadn't gotten together nor talked for some time, and you didn't like it and didn't want it in your experience. And then your dad fell ill and you were going to go visit him in the hospital. And ultimately you did and had just this really lovely, lovely, heartfelt reunion. However, if though if you'd gone about it the way you planned, it would have been a continuation of what you'd been experiencing. Because you told us, oh, I'm gonna go on Sunday. And Jay said, why wait? You should go now. And I said, if you wait till Sunday, there'll be other people there and it won't be the same experience as it would be if you get to go there on your own.
Yeah.
So
This circles back to have what you want. Left to your devices, you would have continued the fight.
in the distress, but by listening and by expressing yourself and having a back and forth, that's what I was saying. Forget about everybody this what do you think I should do? Should I go on Sunday to see my dad? Lenore didn't say that. She was having a conversation with a couple of friends in a casual, and we had a different idea, and she was willing to listen. Listening, you will see what you're asking for, even if it's not in the form of a question, because she wanted to be with her dad and have it be loving. We want her to be happy with her dad and her dad to be happy with her because we love her. We'd like it to be easy. So we could just see another possibility.
Yes, and that was discovering who your dad was, not coming from who you thought he was or your idea of him.
Yes.
That was right. I forgot that you said when you go see him, see who he is newly, not who you remember him to be.
Yes. That's true. And it was very sweet.
But that seems like a small thing, and it is a small thing. But in a way, it's huge in that you gave up your agenda to keep things in place the way they were, even though you didn't like them, to discover another possibility.
And the flip side of that coin is you went there not trying to make it better. Because
right.
one side is you want to keep it the same. You may not like it, but you've survived with it. So it's familiar. And the other side is you're trying to fix it, make it better. And then somewhere in there is the moment where there are whole new possibilities of self-expression.
Where everything is new. You see, the moment is new. It may be on a continuum of your life, but there's always in the moment this moment of possibility that gets lost in the agenda to get somewhere, to produce something. See, and your mind is a survival machine, so it kicks out survival, strategy. So you're constantly working on holding your universe in place rather than allowing your universe to show up as it would if you didn't impose your will on it. See, people have decisions made about people in their lives, like their parents.
Right.
Their parents can only show up like the story allows because they've decided who their parents are / were at a very young age and have kept that story going rather than discovering something new in the next moment.
Yes.
It's somewhere, not trying to prove something.
And he wasn't who I had remembered him as.
Yes.
He was. I learned things about him. I heard him in ways. He said things to me that he's never said before.
Well, he may have.
He might have.
You may not have been receptive to what he was saying because you held him differently and you wanted him to be the way you wanted him to be.
Yes.
So you could be right, but he was wrong.
Yes. True. I wanted him to stay in the daddy zone. Just that's how much you get to be.
Yeah, and the daddy zone is like my dad.
Yes.
My dad. It's not
A full
I'm
person.
meeting this human being who also happens to be my dad, but to meet him, to get to know him, to see him as a bigger, wider person is pretty exciting.
It was sweet.
It's funny to me how children always think they need to prove that they know more than their parents.
Yeah.
It's a early growth thing, and some people never grow out of it. So
True.
I'm going to ask you, did you get what you wanted out of this conversation today?
I did. Thank you. I didn't even know what to ask, and yet I got it. So thank you.
I just want to say that one more thing. You're always asking. If you want to know what you're asking, just look and see what the universe is providing.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank you.
It's time for our listener feedback spotlight.
Okay, so here we go.
We're going to hear from one of our listeners about how transformation has impacted her life or his life. Let's see.
Yeah. And if you'd like to learn more about what we're up to, come, you could register for any of our upcoming virtual courses.
Or sign up for our newsletter. Just visit
transformationmadeeasy.com.
It really is easy.
It is easy if you know the way.
This is Claire in Waldorf, Maryland, and I just really appreciate listening to the Being Here podcast so much. I find that whatever is happening in my life, I don't know, I find it a source of being able to really access my life, and I really appreciate it.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shire's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
I invite you to speak up. It's going to be fun. It's a one-day virtual seminar with a little bit extended hours so that there's time for you to take a break and go practice speaking up with yourself even. It's Saturday, September 23rd. It's with Susan Finch, who's an amazing speech and voice coach. She has done many things, including coached dialects on Broadway, but all in all, she's just an amazing, amazing lady. And then we're going to do sleepaway camp for big kids, the freedom to breathe.
An art of being a healer at Camp Tecumseh. That's on October 20th, 21st, and 22nd.
Reclaiming Your Sense of Wonder is our virtual weekend that's bilingual to support our German-speaking friends. And then Costa Rica 2024 is also still open on the books. You're welcome. A weekend seminar is a prerequisite. Living Made Easy is next Monday and the following Saturday. You can find out about any and all of the things we're offering at transformationmadeeasy.com.
Yes.
Ready for our next?
I am.
Okay. As we're having Michelle come in, I just wanted to do one more thing. Shout out to Judy, who suggested this title. So thank you. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, guys. I'm calling in from Manhattan today.
Welcome. Nice having you.
Well, thank you for having me. It's an interesting topic. I can relate to this. I realized that, asking questions, asking for what I want has a lot to do with self-expression. And I can see how in the past, or mostly, I say mostly, in the past, I didn't ask for what I wanted, and then was a very frustrated person. And in addition to that, it was something to hold against people. So if I didn't speak up and didn't say what I wanted, and I didn't get what I wanted, I had a reason to be mad at someone. And the dynamics are just very interesting. I realize when at work, I work for myself, I'm a consultant. For me, it's a lot easier to, when it's not related to myself or what I want. So asking questions or asking for what is needed is a lot easier. But then when it comes to me, sometimes I do realize that there is this hesitancy of, Lenore mentioned it too, not to, it's almost arrogant to ask for what I want. And it's
I don't think it's arrogance. I think that's what you think. I think it's insecurity. And I think it shows up like you're afraid you won't get what you ask for. So you don't ask.
Yeah.
So it has to do with that you are worthy, and that asking is a natural outcome of your needs. And if you ask, chances are you will get what you ask for. But if you're committed to being the victim, where nobody ever gives you what you want as part of your story, then you won't ask because it'll blow the story.
Yeah, that was definitely my way of life.
Yes, but that's normal, you see. That's most people's way of life.
It is, and it's, now thinking back, it felt, getting the confirmation that other people don't like me or don't want to give me what I want felt good in a way, feeling a victim, feeling rejected. That's so, I know about that. So
it's like having an old friend.
it is, yeah.
With you that nobody loves you.
Me and my victimhood, we're gonna go sit in the closet for a while.
Right.
It's so strange, but then on the other side, dropping that attitude or that lifestyle is very liberating. I think for the listeners who don't know, I'm originally from Switzerland. Who would have thought? But I experienced the Swiss culture as more repressed than here in the US. Of course, you cannot generalize that, but that's just my impression. And I do find that just living here with Susan, my wife, has opened up new possibilities for me in how I can express myself. And I really enjoy that. That's
yeah, look, when we first met, you had a very narrow portal where information could come in. Yeah. Because you were protected. It was as though you had a castle built around you with high walls with a real small door, that was going to just let a little information in at a time so you could digest it rather than be overwhelmed by something new.
But you say that, I get a picture. You're talking about this small portal for information to go in where you're guarded. But similarly, if you want to communicate, it has to go through that same small portal,
you see.
So as we're talking, I realized that one of the largest and often unseen components to being able to ask for anything is your ability to listen. Because as you allow yourself to hear in an unguarded manner, it's very much easier to speak up in an unguarded manner.
Well, if you're guarded, you can't hear, you can't listen, because anything is a potential danger to your point of view. Look, I'm going to embarrass you a little bit. I hope you don't mind.
Go ahead.
You were at my house with your wife a long time ago. So it's
Probably a
not
couple years. Or
couple of
a
years,
year,
but
it was a
I
while.
started talking about something with you. I don't recall the what of it.
And it's not really
And
relevant.
that's not relevant. But you told me that this is a territory you did not want me to speak with
That
you about.
I'm uncomfortable about this theme. And Shai said, I don't care.
This is my house. I'm going to talk about what I can talk about. So you at that time were still trying to suppress your universe so it would come into you the way you wanted it.
And so that you would have the appearancy of comfort. Because if anytime a topic comes up you're uncomfortable with, if you can keep that topic aside, you then think you're comfortable, rather than, oh wow, look at this, I just got all squeamish hearing about this.
Yeah, I remember that. I even said I don't want to talk about that. And the thing is, since then I have noticed that come up, me saying, or at least thinking I don't want to talk about it. And then it was great to discover that I can talk about anything if I just, listen and not engage in my discomfort.
Yeah, I think that's probably made a
if
huge...
you don't prove that the topic is what's causing the upset, it unwires. But when you falsely cause something, you blame something that isn't the real cause, then you're stuck, because the truth is the only thing that frees you. When you see something as it is, you're freed up from it. When you protect yourself, there's no relaxation to seeing what is there that you can then interact with in a way that well-being is the outcome.
I often think people talk to themselves and say they have a hard time asking for what they want, when really they haven't recognized a lot of the time they do, and they haven't looked at what's different when they're not. So I'm looking at you, Michelle, and I know people listening to this podcast don't have the benefit of visual, but that's not really relevant. I'm just recalling a lot of Living Made Easy seminars that we do, the 2-hour seminars on Mondays, Saturdays, Tuesdays. You come to a lot of them. There's a consistency with your participation. And I often see you lean forward and say, hey, so-and-so, could you turn your light on? I can't really see. Or are you having a conversation with somebody off screen? Or like you are free to articulate
you
yourself.
aren't the Michelle you thought you were.
And
Yeah.
I imagine if there are times where you have the thought, you want to say, hey, could you turn your light on? Hey, could you turn your light on? Hey, could you? And you're not articulating it. You haven't recognized that you're upset. And that upset is a gap between you and self-expression.
Yeah, that is true. And I have noticed that. And then the next thing is why I go down a rabbit hole where I'm clearly in my head and I don't listen anymore, where I, berate my, yeah.
Hey, Michelle, whatever you come up with to justify being upset is not it.
But what if being in a rabbit hole and not listening is the purpose? I've seen over and over again. We'll do a seminar and we'll talk about sex, and person A and person X will start to nod out. And then we start talking about money, and person F and person L start to go to sleep. And then we start talking about family, and different people will start to fade off. What if that upset is a purposeful way to avoid
looking at what you're not ready to look at?
Yeah, I haven't thought about that, but there's truth in that.
So when you find yourself going in a rabbit hole, you might want to just divert your eyes to what's happening, your ears to what's happening, go, what's happening here? because that rabbit hole is a very convenient. And so instead of a problem, it's the solution.
Cool.
See, it's coming from that your life is showing up currently in the current moment perfectly. So what you have is exactly what you want in this moment. If it's upset, well, that the moment saves you from something else by being upset in the moment. Now, I'm not suggesting upset as a very useful way of surviving, because it's not. The upset is an old mechanical automatic behavior that overtakes you rather than you actually looking and seeing what's wanted and needed.
I think you said something. I don't quite have it, but you said something to the effect of, if someone doesn't like me, and I find that an interesting interpretation of life, because I often think it's not that people don't like you, it's that they have either different plans or different life trajectory than what you have. So it really doesn't have to do with
Well,
you.
you know, recently on a fishing trip, you thought the guide didn't like you. Remember that?
No.
Oh, well, that you were upset then, so that's why you came up with it. But it's not that people don't like you. It's
That you're
you have a
upset.
conversation that you're not likable.
Because I'm looking at,
And you know, Michelle, you're very likable.
and you're not compatible with everybody in the world. There will be some people who just have no interest in Michelle's lifestyle. They have other things that they have an interest in. But I was just looking at this, dating, sales, where to go to for dinner. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. Well, sometimes when you do ask, the answer is no, but that's like freedom.
How
A
so?
yes, well,
A yes and a no are equal.
for instance, I love when someone like you wants to attend a seminar. So I'll say, hey, are you coming tomorrow to the Living Made Easy? And if you say yes, then I'm like, great, see you there. And the door closes on that question, and that is put aside.
It's complete.
Sometimes I say, hey, will I see you tomorrow at the Living Made Easy? You say, no, I have other plans. Then the door closes and it's complete. I allow myself to be happy for you. Oh, have a great time traveling to Switzerland, whatever it is that you may be doing, or on vacation. Or there's something about a genuine answer that where a no is as good as a yes, and of course we all prefer the yeses.
That's brilliant. Yeah.
Thank you. I
You
like
guys, you guys are so brilliant. I mean,
Well, it takes you being brilliant to see our brilliance. So it's if you aren't brilliant, you wouldn't see brilliance in us. We would be these silly old people who are talking about something that isn't relevant to your life.
well, I'm listening to you guys, and you definitely are brilliant. And thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Also for our listeners, not only is he here and articulating himself and sharing of himself and being vulnerable for all of you, he's actually the engineer and producing the show at the same time. So it's just double brilliant.
Thank you. And you know what, if I may, talking of brilliant people, my wife Susan is co-leading the Speak Up seminar with you. And I just want to invite the listeners to this seminar because, you know, for those who listen to you, they know about you, Ariel and Shai, and about the brilliance of transformation. And I just want to promote this Speak Up course because I know how brilliant Susan is as a teacher. She is she's just amazing. And I actually can hear her now. She's giving a lesson in the other room, and I see how her students just blossom, and that's why.
Yeah, and Susan and I are a unbeatable combo.
Yes, so come.
Did you meet Susan when she and I were leading a speak up?
Yes, in Cambridge, England. That was in 2018, the summer of 2018.
And he sat there going, "Woo, she's brilliant."
Wish all my
Right,
life.
yeah. So,
Excellent.
hey, thank you for an unbiased opinion on Susan, because we concur.
Thank you.
Excellent. Hey, if you would like to be a guest like Michelle or like Lenore, you can easily do that. Just go up to transformationmadeeasy.com/being here and find out how. Next week's episode, vacation.
Vacation.
It's about a vacation from your busy, busy mind. We'll be back next week.
So come on back.
And don't miss
Being here.